Hello, welcome to the December 29th, 2018 edition of Point Counterpoint 46360 show. This will be our last show of the year and our last show for a while. As you know, our followers, we do 5 shows and then we take a 5-week hiatus so that Alco can replay the shows, because normally they would only be played twice. The opinions expressed by the show's hosts, myself, Dwayne Perry, and Anthony Tony Hendricks, will many times conflict, thus the title, Point Counterpoint. Point Counterpoint is a weekly issue show for our area. Point Counterpoint always lets you be the judge for yourself. We live in an information free-for-all. It's hard to see through all the misinformation and get to the accurate facts, what's right and best for our community. We will not libel, discriminate, or disrespect anyone or their views. We believe in the constitutional First Amendment right of free speech, and we support anyone who voices their opinion as their duty to their community. This program brings you just that, an unedited, honest, candid discussion of issues. The producers of Point Counterpoint are solely responsible for the content of the show, but because the show is not rehearsed, we take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by our guests or for the information they gather from public sources. We will adhere to all applicable federal, state, and local regulations concerning limits of public speech and program content. The intent of this show is to thoroughly research current issues that affect our community, present the facts surrounding the issues, discuss the pros and cons, then present to our viewing audience what we together or individually feel is the best solution for both the community and the public. Point Counterpoint 46360 show is a property of its producers, Dwayne Perry and Anthony Tony Hendricks, and may not be rebroadcast without the written permission of its producers. The producers take no responsibility for the opinions of others in the postings of comments in chat rooms, blogs, video logs, forum posts, or other media. We welcome and encourage ideas and suggestions for our show. We can be reached at 46360show at excite.com. Our shows will air on Comcast Cable Access and will be rebroadcast by us on YouTube under the label Point Counterpoint 46360 show. All you have to do is search on YouTube for 46360 show and it'll come up. Again, welcome to Point Counterpoint 46360 show, brought to you by Dwayne Perry and Anthony Tony Hendricks. We hope you enjoy the topics, our discussion, and the show. Well, let's get started, Tony. What do we have on our agenda for today?
Well, like you said, we've been disjointed this last 5 shows. This is our 5th show, we think. And then we're going to run these 5 shows for the next 5 weeks, so you won't see us for 6 more weeks. This is a wrap-up show, end of the year, New Year's. There's some stuff that we're going on. You see, I got papers in front of me again. I kind of laugh because if some radio show people listen to a guy who has a stack of stuff, we have a pile of stuff, a POS.
POS stuff.
But we got some new stuff that came up. I did some research. Dwayne talked about it last week. Went on to Facebook. I looked at the comments. I am not a Facebook fan. I am on there. I think you have to be. I don't really go on there every day. I only go when something groundbreaking is on there and people have expressed an opinion. So we looked at that. We want to bring that on here, but we also want to go everything we just did in the last 4 weeks. And that includes the mayor's announcement of running for re-election, the article in the paper from his campaign manager, Larry Silvestri, the new addition to town and the acreage we got, the midterm elections and the double track again, lakefront development, lots of community crossings,
the
lots
Ohio
of topics we touched.
The Ohio Street extension,
the hospital,
the hospital moving out of town. We've touched a lot of topics. Now, once we get our index posted on our shows, and we get all the shows posted, keep in mind that once in a while we get bumped off the air. I'm looking through my notes and I see I grabbed the 12-2 show. I've got handwritten notes on the 12-22 show and today's 12-29. The week before, which would have been our 12-15 show, we got bumped because of the Kitty Parade, the Christmas Parade. So you won't see a show for 12-15.
Okay, so where do you want to start? I think we should start about redevelop, because that'll lead into
the latest topic
redevelopment, there were some postings by Councilwoman Candace Silvis, the
Second Ward Council
Second Ward.
representative.
She was my representative. She took over for Esbar, right?
Yeah,
And then
Mark
before that
Esbar.
was Paul Prespolinski.
Before Mark Esbar was Paul
So that's kind of the heart, the blue collar heart of Michigan City, right there.
Yeah.
And she was upset.
The ruffle was all about a change in the makeup of the redevelopment commission. Larry Silvestri, as I've said several times, who is Mayor Mears' campaign manager for his upcoming campaign in 2019, a close advisor after the election in 2015, was appointed to both the Park Department board and the redevelopment commission. Mr. Silvestri's term was over, and rather than appointing someone else, the mayor appointed himself. That's where the flash fire started. Lots of public comment, and Ms. Silvis led the way on her Facebook page, and many comments. Very,
Councilman Stimley chimed in, Councilman Beatrice chimed in. There was some discussion in the paper I didn't see. Basically, my thoughts on it, we talked about it last time, was he can do it.
Legally, he can do it.
He's going to be on there, so it's time. I always say, and I think you agree, that it's time to put up or shut up. I mean, let's see the results.
Yeah.
Where is all this grandiose? We got this coming. It's been 7 years now, going on 8, and I think if he's on there, his feet are in the fire now. He is going to lead that charge. Now, what I don't understand, if I recall correctly, and you have to help me here, that ex-mayor Oberle's on there. So is he kind of telling Oberle that, with all you know, I need to be on there myself because I need to lead the charge?
That's a good point.
Is he kind of pushing Oberle to decide that this is my game and my show and we're going to work it my way?
Well, all of Oberle's,
kind of a slight to ex-mayor Oberle?
I almost said that all of Oberle's projects are done because we think of ArtSpace. ArtSpace was an Oberle project that came to fruition during Mears' first term.
Started it.
But what is there in the? What did he just do recently?
So Oberle's on the redevelopment. I think that was the reason to put him on there as a steady hand who had a lot of history and had a lot of knowledge on where the redevelopment of this town would go. And now he puts himself on.
Right. In the mayor's announcement that he was going to run again, he got into several topics, and one of them was he wanted to finish the Lafayette Barker storm sewer. Well, now that was an Oberle project. That's why I mentioned it. That's a gigantic hole in the ground. We talked about that one of our shows.
$10 million hole.
It starts at Barker Ave and it runs north to dump the stormwater into Trail Creek.
Right now it just sits at Elston and the corner there, Elston and Lafayette.
Lafayette, and it is
It sits there.
an extremely large
It's a tunnel.
pipe. It's a tunnel. It's big enough, and it just doesn't make sense. When Tony, who is very versed in that area, much more than I am, looked at it, the highest spot in town, St. Stan's Church area, which used to have a restaurant there called Hilltop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Hilltop. It was because it's the highest part in town. It goes up to that corner of Ripley, I believe it is, in Franklin, and then it goes down to the lakefront. So you're pushing water uphill, which is just contrary to the way it's meant to flow. There's several parts of the Lafayette Barker storm sewer that have virtually no slope at all to get the water to run. Tony looked into that very heavily. I helped him as much as I could, but and the reason it was never finished was because of the magnitude of the project. The city bit off more than they could chew.
Well, yeah, because
now the mayor wants to finish it, and I just don't see any benefit to finishing it.
I mean,
it's money poorly spent. Why throw more money into that hole in the ground?
Throwing good money after bad again. I mean, it's $10 million, but I guess it is what it is. Walk away. If you look, because we looked at Barker, Lafayette, and they've done a lot of engineering, a lot of study. All that water was going down Barker towards Queens through that hill.
Yeah.
It was running huge, what was that, 35, 40 foot deep pipe? Old pipe. It's made for anyone.
It was running east at a very rapid rate.
Instead of the natural flow, which would have run west over to the Streeble Pond area, everyone and this is not this administration or Orberly or Sheila's, it's everyone in the past has pushed water east over to Cheney Run. They have all plowed through another hill to drain something that went west. It doesn't make a bit of sense.
Wouldn't the water on the west side of the highest part of town, wouldn't it naturally flow to Brown Ditch?
Yes.
Didn't you say Brown Ditch?
Well, Strebel Pond through
Brown Ditch.
Strebel Arm, yep, go over to Brown Ditch, out through Lake Michigan. I don't know why we keep pushing water the wrong way, and we spend money, millions. I'm talking millions now, and we looked into that a lot. But
I found my notes on the mayor's announcement. I mean, we devoted a whole show to that, so our comments stand. But we are summarizing, and there were several things that I pointed out that for 7 years now we've seen a lot of formal announcements, gala kickoffs, a lot of hype about plans that we've got. There's over 40 of them in the public library. You go down to the technical section, you can look at all the plans that various administrations in Michigan City have developed, and they're all sitting there on a shelf, most of them having virtually none of the plan implemented. And the Muir administration is not too much different. They had the Michigan City Downtown Agenda program, the Hyatt Palma thing that was, oh my God, it was huge. The presentation was at Elston Junior High Auditorium. It was like a gala formal event. There you go, the Hyatt Palma Downtown Action Agenda. Nothing happened to it. Nothing. It disappeared.
Consult, plan, repeat.
Yeah, consult, plan, repeat. I like that. There was a Trail Creek Riverwalk. Nothing done. It's on a shelf. Now the Uptown Open Air Park, at the Open Air Park at the corner of 7th Street and Franklin Street, I've said every time, what's going on here? We've heard nothing about transit-oriented development. All these Chicago people are going to move over here once we get 2 tracks through Michigan City, nice new train station, and yet the city's planner, Craig Phillips, convinces the mayor that the thing to do is to tear down the old SS Kresge building in FW Woolworth, which were 2 5 and dime department stores on the southwest corner of 7th and Franklin, which were both 2 stories apiece. They were sound buildings, and I will say this categorically, in contrast to what Craig Phillips says. They were sound buildings. They were in much better condition inside than the Warren building was before renovation started there. And the Warren building turned out to be gorgeous. So what's the deal here? They tear down 31,000 square feet of living space that could have been 30 condominiums, nice quality upscale living, 4 blocks away from the train station, where all of our new residents are going to travel to work from every day. It's these kind of things, and we keep hearing tomorrow. The Lake Michigan Gateway Implementation Strategy. Well, what have we done there? We put two direction traffic on Pine Street and Washington Street. We painted some street lines. Well, we got a ton of solar stop signs on both of those streets. And we got our You Are Beautiful house.
You are beautiful.
10, 15-foot high sign on the old police department news dispatch site. You know, it made me think of, things pop into my mind all the time. It's like that Rocky movie, I think it was Rocky 3, where he fought Clubber Lang. And Apollo Creed is training him, and they're running on the beach, and Rocky just gives up. And Apollo says, "Come on, Rock." And he says, "I'll do it tomorrow." And he says, "There is no tomorrow." So true. For 7 years, we've been hearing, tomorrow we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Well, there's one more year in the term. The time is up. Do something. Let's break some ground. Well, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. We broke ground for the 50-unit apartment complex on Pine Street. Nothing happened over the summer months, which my gig being construction, that's when you're going, hell-bent for leather. Nothing happened. Now, the contractor involved, I don't know who it is, I don't want to mention any names, even if I did, I wouldn't, is asking for more money because of delays and because of foul weather conditions that they say weren't in their bid. So here's again, if you don't know how to cook, stay out of the kitchen.
It's like the Andy Griffith Show. And that one show where the drifter came in town and Opie was getting in trouble because he said, why do today what you could put off till tomorrow?
Yeah.
And this is the tomorrow campaign, I guess.
And we constantly were trying to impress people. The Hitchcock Design Group out of Naperville, Illinois, and Hyatt Palm was out of New York City. Another one out of, where is it at here? Out of somewhere in Texas, It's like Charlie the Tuna, man, trying to impress Starkist to take him. I got good taste. And they, well, Charlie, we want somebody who tastes good. Well, enough of that. We did a whole show on that. And that's what Mr. Silvestri addressed when he, which is almost like the same, a copy of the same comments that were made in the, pretty much in the mayor's announcement article, "City has flourished under mayor administration." I don't know, these are reading glasses. My eyesight, long distance, is really good, and I don't see anything that's happened in the last 7 years.
Well, you can put your glasses on and see the short term, right? Do you see anything there either? I mean, go back to the redevelopment.
Yeah, let's go back to that. There were some really good comments on Miss Candace's Facebook page, and I'm going to share a couple with her. She really hit the nail on the head. She dissected, Candace, she did a great job. She dissected the organization of the city and how many boards and commissions we've got, how many people are 1, 2, and 3-time appointees. When we've got 29,000 people, our census says 31,000, but that includes 2,200 prisoners in Indiana State Prison, which I don't want to bring that up because we fought real hard over that when we redistricted in 2012. If we would have excluded that 2,200, we would have been in the category with Terre Haute that tried to exclude their federal penitentiary, and it ended up in the Supreme Court of Indiana. So we decided, let's leave things alone, and we did redistrict based on that. But some really good comments. I enjoyed several of them. One of them by Mr. Jeff Deutsch, who the mayor hired after he got in office as his human resources manager. He spearheaded the hiring program, and I made a comment that I guess was incorrect. I made the comment that the mayor recently took a free vacation on the city's dime down to Florida under the guise of managing the powerboat race, which is a year or two ago was re-signed. Michigan City re-signed a multi-year contract for it, and I thought, why is he going down there? Well, Mr. Deutsch corrected me, and he said the mayor and his wife get a free, well, semi-correction, the mayor and his wife get a free vacation every year to sign the contract. Well, my response to that, and I think Tony would have to agree with me, in this day and age of teleconferencing, overnight mail, that having to make a trip down there every year to sign a contract is really unnecessary. And if a review of the contract and any changes can be made on a teleconference between the parties in Florida and the parties in Michigan City, and then overnight it, we sign it, send it back. He said, well, I'm going to read this because I'm not liable. This is what Mr. Deutsch said. The mayor and his wife get a free vacation every year to sign the contract. He usually is passed out drunk, and people send the pictures back of him passed out, and all the city hall laugh at them. 2 hours of work for 4 hours of food and booze. I would have never said that, especially after Mr. Matheny got dinged by Dr. Cora in their issue, but it's not good.
Yeah, the redevelopment. I mean, I have to give the mayor kudos for jumping in there. I don't agree with it, but boy, he's manning up. This is it. This is an election year next year. This is where it all comes down to. So.
Yeah, well, and
he's taking this reins and he's riding this thing out, and it's his game, which it is his game.
And Ms. Silvas alluded to that in one of her comments that why is he doing this? Probably because for the votes. I made the comment that Mr. Muir has about as much business in looking at redevelopment, being involved in economic development as I do. serving on a NASA committee for space travel. We had people that were on there. Ken Barrett had a respectable background. We've got some good people on there now. I just commended John Sheets this afternoon for being
John
added
Sheets.
to it. The council added John Sheets and Pat Kowalski, two excellent selections, two very intelligent individuals that are well-rounded. They know Michigan City. They're educated, and I think it was just an excellent move. The mayor's still going to get what he wants because the council has 2 appointments and the mayor has 3, but you need people that are really competent and qualified to be on the commission.
When you get to a little side note there, when you get to the boat race thing down in Florida, personally, if I, as an elected official, I wouldn't have gone because it just sends way the wrong message. And you do spend some money down there to go down there. That's taxpayers' money. I would have probably taken that money and trying to find a way to treat them to a better restaurant or a better hosting in Michigan City when they come up, so they can enjoy Michigan City. You can sign the contract and say, hey guys, I'd like to be down there, but we just need to sign the contract and we're all good. When you come up here, I'm going to show you even a better time because this is Michigan City. I want you to be really aware of
I hadn't even thought about that. That's an excellent.
Spend the money up here.
Here's where the boat race is at.
You
show them we have a world-class resort, blue chip, casino, restaurant, accommodations.
Take them to a local restaurant and
show them around and show them what they're getting for their
afternoon brunch or this is how great Michigan City. I could come to Florida and spend thousands of dollars, or I can spend a few thousand here in Michigan City and treat you guys to a real good time. And maybe you'd want to come back, not just for the boat races, maybe you just want to come back because it's a great place to be. Lots of things to do with that money. That's
well, I'm going to read the second comment that Mr. Deutsch made, and I like what he said for 2 reasons. One, because we all are responsible for what we do. And the second one is when Ron Mayer became mayor in 2012, he hired Mr. Deutsch. He let him go a little while later. I don't know the exact year, but I thought the city was doing well in that area with Mr. Deutsch running the program. I thought he did a good job. I don't know why it happened, but so there may be an axe to grind, which is understandable. Mr. Deutsch had an outstanding military career. His credentials were more than qualified for the job. He took the job and he was doing it, from my vantage point, he was doing a good job. The other comment is this city needs change. Ron only cares about what his family gets for free. How can you run a city when you spend 75% of your time at Blue Chip? I don't know that for a fact because I don't go to Blue Chip. I'm not a gambler. I love to gamble. I love to play blackjack. I've never won in my life. So if I go to a blackjack table, I give myself 30, 40 bucks, and when it's gone, I'm gone, because the thing about gambling is when you're up, all you can think about is how much you're going to get up, and when you're down, man, my luck's going to change with that next hand, and that's what gets you in trouble. So
those are
I read those because
Facebook.
I respect Mr. Deutsch. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, and so it is what it is. I kind of think that the mayor's jumping right in here, and he's going to take the bull by the horns, and this is his race, and it is. This is an election year. He announced he's running again. He has a record, good or bad. He's got to run on, and you got to polish it the best way you can. We kind of downplay it here because we don't see the action that we keep seeing in the paper or in other postings. That this is like we're living in utopia here. It just. You were on the council when that bottler came for
Chicago Bottling. Right away.
Boarded up and
right away, Councilman Beatrice Murphy proposed a tax abatement for him, which I have really mixed emotions about tax abatement. We need to work with these people that come to Michigan City. If we can help them out with the purchase of land, if we can help them out with startup costs, but don't give them tax abatements because we need the tax revenues. We need the property tax revenues.
Schools need it. They're the ones that get hurt the most.
Yeah. The city needs it. The schools need it. Don't help them at the expense of the city and the schools. And that's why I really had I really didn't feel comfortable with the tax abatement program.
And that kind of dovetails what I was going to go to next was the Clarence Hulse article, the city officials selling a new edition. And I want to ask Dwayne, because I think I remember correctly, we had lots of TIFs that have come up lately. The South Side TIF was expanded. They had an East Side TIF at 212,
Created an East Side TIF, yeah.
Now we got this new edition, and we're going to give them a bunch of utilities. And if you looked at the paper and this property that's out there, this property has been for sale for 30 years, I think. And if it was something that a commercial entity thought was a good investment, was going to make money, they would have already been there. I don't think adding water and sewer is going to rise to the level that they're going to say, hey, we got to come here. I mean, you talked about in your campaign, the Woodruff's Industrial Park.
Woodruff Industrial Park on Highway 12. We have 4 sites. The old J.M.R. Ruby, 400 North and Ohio Street. The Woodruff Industrial Park on Highway 12. An area that's in behind, now it's a Kia dealer. It used to be Schwartzlander out there on 35 going east. There's water, there's sewer, and there's roads there ready to go. And the fourth one was Federal Mogul, north of the golf course on Royal Road. And I said I'd put industry and jobs in there in my first terms, and 3 out of 4 of them in my first term. And for some reason that only God knows, because I don't, it didn't click. And we've got these resources that nothing's happening. I want to use this as a springboard, if it's okay, because we have one article that we haven't talked about that Tony in our previous shows that Tony and I want to talk about briefly. That came out this week. There was an article in the Northwest Indiana Times.
Oh, yeah.
Unemployment has gone up in Northwest Indiana. I got into this, took a look at it, and as I said in our last show, when you read something in the newspaper or you hear something on the news, use it to launch a little bit of your own thought into it and read between the lines, because not always do you get the whole picture, do you get the right picture. In reference to unemployment in Northwest Indiana, I looked at the national unemployment figures and I looked at the regional figures. This is a tough area of the country we live in. There is only one state in the entire continental United States that has an unemployment rate that's higher than Northwest Indiana right now. That's Louisiana. Louisiana, we are the highest in the Great Lakes region. Louisiana is the highest nationally. And beyond that, when you look at the numbers, they say, well, it says joblessness fell in Crown Point, East Chicago, Gary, Maryville, and Schererville in November, dropped as much as 0.5% in Gary. Unemployment rose in Hammond, Hobart, Michigan City, and Portage last month, but but it's dropped. The unemployment in Michigan City has dropped. Michigan City's up 0.4%. Mm-hmm. Well, kudos. I apologize. I stand corrected.
There's more unemployment. we're falling behind.
I'm sorry. Unemployment didn't go down. It went up.
We're falling behind.
We're increasing is not good in this case. We're not increasing jobs. And that's what I want to tell you. In a town of 29,000 plus people, let me see, a tenth of that's 2,900, tenth of that's 290, 1/10 is 29 times 4. About 110 people in Michigan City lost their job.
Well,
that's what 0.4% means to Michigan City.
Think about it like that.
Maximally, if it's one person per family, possibly 100 and what did I say, 30?
110.
4 times 29. Yeah, 100. That's 136. 136 families could have been affected by this. You don't. Well, what's 0.1%? Come on. Well, 0.1% is 30 families that could be affected. That's why these numbers need to be taken seriously when we're trying to revitalize a city. We've got to get jobs back here that are available to people. And I went beyond that. I started looking at, and this is a little bit of let me check the time again. I don't want to run out because we got so much we want to cover. And Tony's got a lot.
No worry, we never cover it.
We never do. Okay, very quickly, the 10 most in-demand jobs for those with a high school degree.
Oh, that's good.
High school diploma. Bus and truck mechanics, but of course you need additional education for that. A truck diesel mechanic, that's a specialization. 2, billing cost and rate clerks. 3, bus drivers, school and special client. 4, these numbers, they got the numbers mixed up because it goes 1, 2, 4, 5. But I'm just reading them as they come. Carpenters, that's a trade program. You got to go through an apprenticeship. You got to learn. There's real, there's a lot to know about being a good carpenter, absolutely. 5, computer-controlled machine tool operators.
That's a big one.
Metal and plastic, that's a big one.
Huge.
Oh, and they also gave prognosis for the future. Truck mechanics, by 2024, these all numbers, they expect an increase in demand of 15%. Billing clerks, 15%. Bus drivers, almost 8%. Carpenters, almost 12%, 11.61. Computer machine operators, 30%.
30%.
Now
That's only going to grow.
and your average salary for that is $35,600.
It's only going to grow.
Only going to grow. We go on.
30%.
Construction carpenters, I don't really, it's the same rate as the other carpenters. I don't know whether dissecting, how they're dissecting it. 11.6% again. Construction laborers, average pay $38,600 a year. Good money. 15% projected increase. Coroners, I couldn't do it, but that doesn't mean it's not a good job.
Pretty cool.
$59,000 a year. Expected a 9% increase in demand. Correctional officers, everybody boo-hoos about Indiana State Prison being here. You can make $33,000 a year there, and they expected a demand to increase 7%. Customer service representatives, $35,000 with 11.5% increase. Now, these are the kind of things that we try to do as a community service. But I look beyond, I went a little bit further in looking at, all right, we got to have jobs. We experienced a downturn in employment. Unemployment went up. And I thought, where do we stand as a city? So I went back into some numbers. United States Census and federal numbers. In Michigan City, 25.5, rounded up to 26. Now let's round it down. 25%. 1 in 4 individuals in Michigan City are below the poverty level of income. 1 in 4. And the poverty level is determined by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In all 48 states, 48 contiguous states and the District of Columbia, the poverty guideline is set at $12,140 a year per person. So that's what I've said many times. And they say that, and I said before, I said when I fought the sanitary rate increase, I said, don't do this in one lump sum to the people of Michigan City. Stair step it. A little bit here, a little bit second year, finish it up in 3 years or 4. Don't do this, well, bang, 35% in 1 year. The Department of Health and Human Services determines that the amount of income for low income is twice the poverty level, which would be 2 times 12,140 or roughly $24,300.
And
That's barely a $10 an hour job, barely. So here we get more Coney Island type hot dog stands, we get tire stores, we get mattress stores, and we got industrial sites where somebody can make $25, $30 an hour with healthcare insurance, which is an issue for a family, with a retirement, a 401k, opportunity for advancement. We're not. It's not even a case of looking at the glass half full when it's half empty. It's a case of looking at it through the right glasses. We're not. People in Michigan City need help.
I mean, to circle back around, we have all these buildings and structures and industrial places that I haven't heard a word about, but then we hear things about, you know, the new place there by the new Chrysler dealership on 20. What is that? The new building they built, they had to have that.
Oh, the brand new, it's,
The Barker Haskell building.
yeah, Barker Haskell
And
building.
now-
It's a mirrored image of the Omni Complex.
No, the Ameriplex.
Ameriplex at 249,
And now we're talking about a new addition of
which is
acreage.
empty. Nobody in there today.
And we now got new acreage with new additions, and we put sewer and water. Build it, they will come. We told you before on shows, just look it up. California was the first state that did tax increment financing, TIFs, and they were the first state after, 56 years to do away with it because it's a failure. It doesn't work. Build it, they will come, does not work.
No.
All it does is pull money from emergency services and schools and run your community into the ground, and they got rid of it. But we think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's what I was going to go over. The South Side TIF District grew. They created an East Side TIF District on 212. Now we have this new annex property. We have the North Side TIF District with the casino, right? There's a whole bunch of money there. And we have these, promises and grandiose articles and gala events, but, with the proof's in the pudding.
Even
Wow.
though, if it does actually happen, the disassembly of the lakefront generating station, if it does happen in 10 years, we should be meeting with NIPSCO right now. They own the property. They're going to sell it. It's not Michigan City's property to sell. And what do? Our planner comes out with a, what'd you say, 78-page document of
Waterfront restrictions.
regulations that have to be complied with in order to develop that billion-dollar property. It's a billion-dollar property by the time you look at all of that can be developed and what can be developed there.
Oh, at least.
And we should be talking to NIPSCO about what they're looking for out of that property rather than thinking that, hey, it's inside the city limits, we're going to decide what's there.
We better make sure they do what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you, and I have no insider information, but it's real obvious. I guarantee NIPSCO already has developers. I'm sure they already talked to the city quietly.
Well, that's what.
And have gotten the whole, well, we got these new pages, you better make sure you do these. And they're thinking, hey,
Yeah.
we hold the cards here, not you. If we let that plant sit out there and rot and rust for another 50 years, you're the one that's going to take the brunt. So you better. And
we upset them too much, they'll leave that powerhouse there.
basically in government, and you're an elected official, and you work in the county surveyor's office in Utah, I always want to start from yes. When somebody wants to come in and develop something or do something in the county, and we should do this in the city, the answer is yes. How can I help you? Not, oh, wait a minute, here's 74 pages. The answer is no, wait, stop.
First you got to do this, this, and this, and then we'll talk. No. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened with NIPSCO. NIPSCO just said, have a nice day.
Well, isn't the one over in Lake County still sitting there rotting and rusting, in the one they shut down? On the lake, didn't they shut that one down?
Oh, yeah. In 1982, I worked on a polybutane unit. It was formerly a Union Carbide chemical plant right on the shores of Lake Michigan, right on the shore of Lake Michigan in Whiting. And the market changed for polybutane. The plant was shut down. And I think a lack of flexibility. The property is still sitting there without an owner that's making a product today.
Right there on the lake.
So what's that,
Or
82, 20, 30, 37 years it's been sitting.
Or some sort of redevelopment.
Yeah.
On the lake.
Or
we all
redevelopment.
know beach frontage is...
And Whiting has
sought
got a
after.
beautiful lakefront. When we've talked about on our show, we've talked about developing our lakefront. I brought some pictures in one of our shows. I said, that's like an accessory in a car. Let's not build everything around that, because you go west, there's been a lot of development done of the lakefront right there on the west side of the old Bethlehem Steel, the Burns Harbor area. Beautiful lakefront park. There you go further west. You got, Miller Beach. They're cleaning their beach up, east side of Gary. Whiting has completely redone their lakefront. They had a beautiful baseball park there that I broke my heart that I never got a chance to play in it, because I I've never played with a team that played but they removed the baseball diamond and built a gorgeous lakefront. And what else do you have over there? You got 2 casinos. You got Horseshoe, which is it's bigger than Blue Chip. It's a big casino. And, you know, you got to do what's right. You got to think about what you're doing all the time.
So this show is Get Ready. It's a city election year, council, mayor. It's a local municipality election year. And get ready. There's going to be promises made and lots of articles by anybody. And we're not just talking about the mayor. You know, everyone who's elected will put together something on how great and what they did and how the city's moved forward and how we should keep them. And then there'll be candidates running against them that will say that too, and they'll tout their record and what they're going to change in Michigan City. And we always encourage people, because now you can go register to vote. You only have a limited time until May, so don't hesitate. If you haven't registered, it's very easy. I think you can go to the DAV or the Department of Motor Vehicles too. I think you can vote, register with your driver's license. There's lots of ways to register to vote. Some of these elections are short. We talked about Fitzpatrick filled the council seat. It was 3-2 because it was a caucus. Your vote does count. This is usually a low turnout year. It's only cities that are electing their people, and this is Trail Creek, Pottawatomie Park, Michigan City, Long Beach. All these people, there will be people that stand up and run for all elected office, which it's a tough thing to do. To put yourself out there. I mean, here we are doing a show on the administration of Michigan City, and we take some abuse, and elected officials, that's what you sign up for, and you hope what you did was good outweighs what people are upset about, because there's always going to be people about not doing what's right.
More than likely, you're going to have several candidates that are already in office that will be running for re-election. My guess is Mr. Dabney will probably run. Candace Silva said she wasn't going to run again, that she's moved on. She's very dedicated to the community, and she's working very hard. She's already accomplished a lot of things. And she, on her Facebook page, someone suggested that she run, and she said that she ran, she won, she's felt she's accomplished something, but now she sees other areas that need her attention. In the 3rd Ward, I assume Mr. Hamilton will run. 4th Ward, probably Mr. Fitzpatrick will run. He's new to the office. 5th Ward, Ms. Carnes. And 6th Ward now is Gene Simmons. Mr. Simmons is fairly new to the council, but the people that have been on the council now, next time it'll be Mr. Beatrice's 3rd term he's running for. I'm not going to go through them all, but look at them for their record. What have they done? Perfect example, in 2013, I'm pretty sure it was 2013 it was 2013 when the mayor canceled the fireworks. I've got him on tape saying that fireworks aren't that important to him. When you have people with the income, low-income people like we have in Michigan City that have a family, that are struggling to just enjoy life, the fireworks were a major event. People took their kids down. They enjoyed an evening of really good fireworks. The public was so angry, I thought we were going to have a lynch mob. But apparently in 2015, when I ran, the anger had died down. People forgot about it. Hold your public servants accountable for their records, what they do. A promise made is a promise that needs to be kept. In our last show, I commented on one of the articles. There were 3 articles in which the mayor was mentioned. One was the 400 acres. First it was 500, then it went down to 400. I don't know what happened there. But the 400 acres on the east side of town. Second one was on lead abatement. Congressman Visklosky and Young. Young's out of St. Joe County. Visklosky's out of Lake County. Said that there were $2.3 million to fight lead, that city was going to use a HUD grant. Well, I did some work on that, and let me see my notes. I think the HUD grant first came out, and I said it in our show. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development offering over $100 million in grants, announced it March 18th of 2016. Well, now it's December of 2018, and we see it in the article that boy, we're going to get this money. Well, my question was, and I said on the show, why is this coming out in 2018 rather than 2016? And well, we got an election coming up in a couple months. And I hate to be so cynical, but this is what I mean when I say, you know, we've heard President Trump talk so much about fake news. We've seen it. We've seen it on both sides of the fence. There's a saying, what is that? If a rumor is passed around long enough, or it also applies a statement.
You say it enough times, it
becomes
true.
fact. A rumor becomes true. If a statement is passed around long enough and nobody challenges, nobody looks into it, it becomes fact. Don't accept things as they are. Use what you read in the paper to do your own investigating. Think about it. If it doesn't make sense to you, like in this unemployment thing, think, well, what is 0.1%? What is that in Michigan City? Well, I told you, it's about 140 people that lose their job. 0.1% increase in unemployment, and 140 people that were working are out of work.
Yeah, I want to get back to that, because when you talk about unemployment, those numbers, that's why I said you need to look at that article quick, because there's no denying, and I have never seen an economy so good as this last year and a half in every arena. And this comes out that says we rose in unemployment. That sounded an alarm to me, and that's why I said you have to read this article. Unemployment's increasing in a booming economy. Something is drastically wrong here. We are on a path that we cannot sustain even in a booming economy. And when you go back to the article, a couple things. You go back to the announcement where the mayor's going to run again. Jobs are still a top priority. This just lands square with unemployment. And then you even go back to January 27th, the article by the Adam Parkhouse and News Dispatch, that the officials are baffled by job growth numbers with the lack of job growth. I mean, after all this selling we do and all this great things we're accomplishing and what we're doing, the proof's not in the pudding here.
No.
And it's up to you. And the beauty of it, we keep telling you this, you have the internet. You can go to you don't even have to go to the library anymore. The internet has got so much good and bad and so much information. You do have to sift through it. But you can read, like you redid the census. You go to the Census Bureau and look at this. You look at incomes. You can grab all this in moments.
This is something that just hit me a minute ago. This is out of the 2000 census, U.S. Census Bureau. Okay, I talked about poverty. This is a report on Michigan City only. You can isolate by city. Poverty status in 1999, okay, 2000. Individuals in poverty in Michigan City, 4,000 individuals in poverty. A breakdown, 18 and over were 23, almost 2,400. Now you get 65 and over, people there are more secure. They're in their career, there's only 415. Related children under 18 years old, 1,600. It's a real issue. And bringing more Sonics, and I got Popeyes, we're going to eat another Popeyes fried chicken. I love Popeyes fried. Oh my God. First time I ever ate it was when I lived in Baton Rouge in 1970. Oh my God, I loved it. It was great.
Well, we had one.
We had one. But, you know, and it's like I've had people tell me, isn't this great? You know, we've got these, and I don't know what to say half the time. Somebody would say, oh my God, we're getting this Popeyes, isn't it great? Or this Sonic. And I say, what do you mean great? Well, they're great food. And I said, well, what about the people who work there? You know that they make about $8, $9 an hour?
No benefits.
Yeah, no benefits.
No retirement.
I hadn't thought about that. Well, I guess it's not so good. Their food's good, but I guess it's not so good for the community. You know, I don't want to say think out of the box. Just look at the whole picture. I love to eat. I think you can tell that I love to eat.
But you look at that article you brought in about jobs that are in the future. This doesn't take a rocket scientist or somebody who's really gifted in leadership, which you'd really want, you know, a really gifted leadership. We talked about Krieger, right, the past mayor.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable. But all you have to do is do a little research. And if somebody's already putting out, they've already crunched the numbers on which jobs are important. So then you tell your economic development and redevelopment people that I want you to go here. I want you to go to technology because there's 30% increase at a minimum. There's not going to be a decrease here, and these people are going to be in so demand. So if we have to take the Federal Mogul building or take the old Elston High School and convert it to something that only focuses on these technology jobs and autonomous vehicles and everything that, because we're not just talking about programming. We're talking about people got to fix the sensors, the drives, the cables. It's all in these vehicles that we drive are going to be in the autonomous vehicles, but they're not going to be anyone there. Somebody's got to fix those. And it doesn't matter where you're at. Those vehicles can come to Michigan City. If you look at airlines, and I don't know how many decades ago it started, they got smart and they realized, and to United States' disadvantage, they said, why are we spending all this money to get our airplanes maintenance done and repairs done? We can fly them down to Mexico or Venezuela, and they can fix them there too. They're airplanes. We could fly them. We could fly them to Europe for all we care and fix them. If they're autonomous vehicles, they can go wherever they want to get fixed. And why isn't Michigan City leading the way with a 30, probably a 50% increase in demand? Why are we telling people to go?
It's just there's not enough thought. That's about the only thing I can say is, in my opinion, there's not enough thought going into this. 1999 income in households. There's 1,250 households. Households, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. 1,250 making less than $10,000 a year. A household. 10,000 to 15, another 1,000. 15 to 25,000, 2,200. Even including the next one, which is 1,900, 25 to 35, 1,900. All those categories, 35,000. If there's two people, their incomes are added together, make 35,000. That's two $10 an hour jobs. Because a $10 an hour job is almost 21,000 a year. Double that, that's 42. 41.6 to be exact. So we are in trouble here. As a community, we are not healthy economically. And we're not traveling in the right direction. We're gonna spend a lot of money, which I believe may happen. We're gonna spend a lot of money to extend the runway of our municipal airport.
Put a bridge in.
In order to do that, we're either gonna have to take the traffic on 35, because that's west of the 35 cutoff. So that's still 3520 right in that area. And we're going to have to take the traffic up over the runway, which they never do. Or we're going to have to take it down under and then run a bridge across it for planes to come in. Now, we're running out of time now. That could open up new avenues, a longer runway. But why aren't we talking to people about coming to Michigan City with their air service, FedEx, DHL, somebody? I worked on a government project out in the desert of eastern Washington, and some really small town, I can't remember, something lake out there, built a big long runway, and you know what they got to come there? Japan Airways.
JAL.
Sent Japan Airlines, signed a contract to use their airport as a training facility for their pilots.
Cool.
Andy tells us we're on a short rope now, so we got to keep moving along.
Yeah, so let's
do the homework before we spend the money.
Yeah, so let's go on. This is the last show of the year. Predictions. Last year I thought, the stock market would be at 30,000. It's not. It dropped 4,000 points and regained 1,000 points. We're on a strange stock market world. I don't know what the explanation is, but I don't know where we're going to be in a year from now. 2 years ago, we got to 25. That was great. Things are happening. Like, sadly, Sears is not going to be around. It's in bankruptcy, and we don't know what's going to go with that brand. So that's kind of even in my young days, that's kind of sad that we could potentially use a name like Sears.
Yeah.
I mean, been around forever.
The cornerstone of America. Craftsman tools.
They talk about the radio.
For a shade tree mechanic like me, all the tools in my toolbox are Craftsman.
And they talked about it on the radio. I heard that they got replaced by Amazon. Sears didn't see it or change their ways, and Amazon come and gobbled them up pretty much. Amazon just wiped them out. And they didn't see the shift, which we're talking about here in Michigan City, the shift that happens in the way it moves and things develop. And they didn't jump on board, and it is what it is. It's where they are. So that brings us to, if we can take a couple minutes, what's going to happen to the mall property?
I don't know. There's so many unknowns about Michigan City. I'm really concerned. Personally, I've got to say, I don't see anything happening in 2019 in Michigan City. St. Anthony's is moved out now.
I saw the gate was open.
Oh, yeah, it was funny because I think the city paid extra money to get the widening done, which the project isn't done yet because you have 3 lanes, 2 traffic and a turn lane going all the way down to 400 North. But the morning I drove down there, the day that the hospital had its, it wasn't the day the hospital had its grand opening.
No, it's not.
It was after that. The next time I drove down here, the road is done. All the debris, construction debris is still there. It's not completed until that's all done. And the landscaping's done. But the gate's locked up. So you've got this new road that's supposed to get people to the hospital. And the hospital road is locked to get to the hospital. I don't see anything happening. I don't know what the Sisters of Alverno plan on doing with the old St. Anthony's Hospital site. I've got ideas what I would do with it. I don't know what's going to happen to Marquette Mall. Now that once Sears is going to be gone, all you're going to have is Planet Fitness and GNC Health.
Business Bureau.
And the Business Bureau.
Visitors.
And it's really a concern. When I was on the council, one of the drivers for the Tri-State bus line asked if we could do something about that because when the majority of the businesses pulled out, now they turn off the lights in the parking lot at night.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So that
didn't
parking
know that.
lot is pitch black after dark. And here you've got these shuttle buses that are going to and from the airport, dropping people off in a pitch black parking lot. I mentioned it when I was on the council, but nothing happened. I don't hear of any new industry coming to Michigan City. I really don't. I really don't know what's going to happen in 2019.
Well, we can make some predictions.
Well, I think we're going to stand still.
I think you're going to get a lot of announcements. It's election year. You have to have them. There's going to be a lot of announcements. There's going to be plans. There's going to be, I would predict there's going to be a big announcement about a hotel development where City Hall and the police station were. Probably some announcement about NIPSCO property, and probably some announcement about how great the redevelopment is going to be around the mall. That's my prediction. You're going to get 3 big announcements in the next 3 months.
Before whatever election day is in May. May 5th, whatever it is.
Maybe one of them for the primary and 2 of them before the general. That's my prediction. You're going to get more announcements.
But actual things happening,
And
concrete poured, buildings are, I
would hope you'd see some concrete poured on Pine. So we only got a few seconds left.
Thanks for watching this. It's been a good year talking to you. We try to help. We hope we've helped. We hope we've enlightened you and made you more aware.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you next year.
Prosperous 2019.
Absolutely.